yelling and yelling until I grabbed his throat. I couldn't stop myself. He tore loose, got a gun.
Hollywood has seen its share of dark stories, but some are truly unimaginable. From actors like Robert Blake to Michael Jace, these names have been linked to some of the tragic crimes in history. But what could be the motives behind these dreadful acts? Join us as we explore 17 Hollywood actors who ended their spouse's life. Number 17. Gig Young. Gig Young was a talented actor who left a lasting impression on Hollywood with his charm and skill. He became famous for his work, winning an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Despite his professional success, he faced personal challenges. Tragically, in October 1978, just 3 weeks after marrying his fifth wife, Kim Schmidt, both of their lives ended in a heartbreaking event that shocked the entertainment industry. The couple was discovered deceased in their apartment at the Osborne in Manhattan. Authorities confirmed that Gig Young had ended Kim before taking his life. The sight was disturbing. Young was found laying on his stomach, clutching a gun, while Kim's body was nearby. The fact that there was no note or explanation made the tragedy even more disturbing. Even though they appeared to be happy from the outside with their recent wedding and a diary entry marking the occasion in their apartment, neighbors recalled hearing odd sounds that afternoon. It wasn't until 5 hours later that the bodies were found. Gig Young had a history of mental health issues and addiction, especially to alcohol. He tried getting help, but it seemed like his inner struggles were too difficult to overcome. After he passed away, he was buried in Waynesville, North Carolina, next to his family. His estate, valued at $200,000, included his Oscar, which he left to his agent's wife. Jennifer, his daughter, later successfully fought to get the award back. While some committed the crime alone, the next person did it in front of his daughter. How ruthless is that? Number 16. Spade Cooley. Spade Cooley was a famous musician and actor who specialized in Western swing during the 1950s. People admired him for his musical abilities, particularly his skill with the fiddle and his leadership of a popular big band. He also found success on television, where his charisma and talent earned him recognition. Despite his public image, a distressing and surprising incident occurred in his life. In 1961, Cooley was found guilty of taking his wife's life, Ella Mae Evans, in a very violent way. The death was witnessed by their young daughter. Cooley had a history of being violent towards his wife, and on that particular day, things escalated. It is suspected that jealousy and anger were the reasons behind his actions, but the specifics are unknown. The audiences were shocked by his behavior, and the entertainment industry was deeply affected by the incident. Cooley was given a life sentence for committing first-degree crime, but he passed away in 1969 due to heart disease before he could be released on parole. Number 15. Claudine Longuet. Claudine L. was a well-known French-American singer and actress who enjoyed a life of fame and luxury. She was married to renowned singer Andy Williams, and all appeared to be going well. However, everything took a dramatic turn on March 21, 1976, when her boyfriend, Olympic skier Vladimir Spider Saw, was fatally fired in his Aspen, Colorado residence. Claudine insisted it was a terrible accident, explaining that Spider had been demonstrating how a gun worked when it discharged unexpectedly. The prosecution claimed that her explanation was inconsistent. Spider was discovered in a position that did not match an accidental firing. This made people question if the firing was accidental or deliberate. Legal mistakes made the case more complex. Claudine's blood sample and dairy were obtained without the correct authorization, making important evidence unusable. The blood test showed illegal substances in her system, and her diary revealed issues in her relationship with Spider. Claudine was found guilty of causing a death because of carelessness, but the punishment was not as severe as some people thought it would be. She was given a fine and a 30-day jail sentence, but she was allowed to serve the time on weekends so she could take care of her kids during the week. There was a lot of criticism when Claudine was spotted on vacation with her defense lawyer, Ronald D. Austin, who was already married. Eventually, Claudine and Ronald got married and moved to Aspen, where they lived together for many years. Spider's family later filed a lawsuit, which was settled privately, with Claudine promising to never talk about the case publicly. Number 14. Stephanie Mosley and Earl Hayes. The sad story of Stephanie Mosley and Earl Hayes shocked Hollywood and the music industry, leaving everyone with a lot of sadness and confusion. Stephanie was a very skilled actress and dancer, famous for her work on Hellcats and VH1's Hit the Floor. She had a lot of charm and talent, which helped her become a well-liked rising star among fans and colleagues. Earl Hayes, her spouse, was a rapper trying to make it big in the entertainment world and had connections to popular figures. Their bright futures were sadly ended in a tragic event on December 18, 2014. The Los Angeles police were called to a high-end apartment building after gunfires were heard by neighbors. Upon arrival, Stephanie and Earl were discovered dead. It was determined that Earl had fatally fired Stephanie before ending his life. The shocking news surprised many, as the couple seemed happy and in love. Earl's connection to boxing icon Floyd Mayweather Jr. added an unexpected element to the story. It was reported that Mayweather was on FaceTime with Earl at the time of the incident, possibly witnessing what happened. There were rumors that infidelity, possibly involving Mayweather, was a factor in the tragic events. Stephanie's passing shocked Hollywood, and celebrities like Jennifer Lopez and Ashley Tisdale shared heartfelt tributes. Eva Marcille, a close friend, described Stephanie as a complete angel, emphasizing the sadness felt by those who were close to her. However, not all deaths were punished. Some Hollywood stars walked away freely. Who do you think they were? Number 13. Faye DeWitt. In 1965, actress Faye DeWitt was involved in a public scandal when she was accused of taking the life of her ex-husband, a famous playwright named Ray Allen. However, the real story behind the tragic event was more complicated than what was initially reported. The couple had recently divorced, and Ray had a history of alcohol and anger issues. One night, Ray showed up at Faye's house drunk and angry, intending to harm her. Faye was alone and scared for her life as Ray moved toward her. In self-defense, she grabbed a letter opener, and during the struggle that followed, Ray was fatally stabbed. A scary act of self-defense became a sad event. Faye was initially accused of the crime when Ray passed away under suspicious circumstances. But as the investigation went on, more information came out that backed up Faye's self-defense story. Proof showed that Ray was the one starting the fight, and Faye was hurt during the incident. Witnesses confirmed Ray's aggressive behavior, supporting Faye's side of the story. With the new evidence, the charges were dismissed, and she was found innocent. Even though the media paid close attention to her, Faye went back to acting and carried on with her work in TV and theater, putting the difficult time in her past behind her. Number 12. O.J. Simpson. The O.J. Simpson trial, known as the trial of the century, is still remembered as one of the most well-known and controversial legal cases in American history. O.J. Simpson, a former NFL player and actor, was charged with the crime of ending his ex-wife's life, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, on June 12, 1994, outside Nicole's Los Angeles residence. The trial started in January 1995 and lasted for 8 months, receiving extensive media coverage. Simpson's defense had a team of high-profile lawyers such as Johnny Cochran and Robert Shapiro, known as the Dream Team. They worked to show that the LAPD had a history of racial bias and mishandling evidence, especially DNA evidence. Cochran famously said to the jury that if the glove doesn't fit, they must acquit, in reference to a glove found at the crime scene. After spending a long time thinking about it, the jury decided that Simpson was not guilty on October 3, 1995, surprising a lot of people. The trial caused arguments across the country, with many African Americans seeing the verdict as a win against racial unfairness, but many white Americans thinking Simpson was guilty. Even though he was found not guilty in criminal court, Simpson was found responsible for the deaths in a different court case in 1997 and was told to pay $33.5 million in damages, but a lot of it still hasn't been paid. Number 11. Dorinha Duval. Dorinha Duval was a famous actress in Brazil, known for her roles in popular TV shows and movies. She was a prominent figure in the entertainment industry and gained fame for her captivating performances. However, she faced struggles in her personal life, particularly in her relationships. In 1980, Duval's life changed drastically. She fired and ended her third husband, Paulo Sergio Garcia Alcântara, in what was later deemed as self-defense. Alcântara had been consistently violent towards Duval during their marriage, which was filled with violence. The situation leading up to the incident indicated that Duval had reached a breaking point after enduring years of harm. In a moment of fear and desperation, she resorted to firing her husband to end his life. Originally, Duval was given an 18-year prison term for ending someone's life, but it was later shortened to 6 years. People had mixed feelings about what happened. Some thought of her as a victim who had done something extreme to get out of a violent relationship, while others saw the death as a sad result. Her situation led to discussions about domestic violence and the extreme measures people may take when stuck in unhealthy relationships. Even after completing her punishment, Duval was able to move forward with her life and career. But the memory of the incident still haunted her. Well, not all crimes are intentional. Some were just games that went horribly wrong. Who do you think fell victim to that? Number 10. William S. Burroughs. William S. Burroughs, a famous American writer, was residing in Mexico City with his wife, Joan Vollmer, when a life-altering incident occurred. Their marriage was strained because Burroughs was addicted to a medication called benzodiazepines, and Joan was having difficulties with alcohol and amphetamines. In 1951, during a night when Burroughs was reportedly intoxicated, he proposed a dangerous game known as William Tell. He asked Joan to place a glass on her head so he could attempt to fire it off. Tragically, Burroughs missed his target, and the bullet ended up hitting Joan in the head, resulting in her immediate death. Burroughs said the gun went off by mistake when he let it fall, but other people and evidence said something different. He got arrested and accused of causing someone's death. Burroughs was kept in jail for 13 days until his brother paid for his bail with bribes. The legal proceedings for the case got postponed, and Burroughs eventually escaped from Mexico. He was found guilty even though he wasn't there and got a 2-year suspended sentence. Burroughs was deeply affected by this tragic event for the rest of his life, which affected his reputation as a writer. Even though he suffered a personal loss, Burroughs still played a significant role in the Beat generation, inspiring many other writers and artists. However, the death of Joan continued to cast a dark shadow over his life. Number 9. Albert Salmi. Albert Salmi was a popular actor because of his powerful acting on stage and TV. He had a deep voice and good looks that fans loved, and his performances brought happiness and emotion to many. Salmi became well known during his peak years, with people admiring his skills and charm. His intense roles connected with audiences and left a mark on the entertainment industry. Salmi's personal life was not as perfect as people thought. Before he passed away tragically, there were a lot of problems and issues in his life. His marriage to Roberta, which seemed stable at first, was very troubled and ended in disaster. On April 23, 1990, in the evening, the Spokane police got a call from Salmi's house, which made them respond right away. When the officers got there, they found a shocking sight. Albert Salmi and his wife Roberta were found deceased. It was later discovered that Salmi had sadly ended Roberta's life before taking his life, creating a disturbing and hard-to-understand situation. The shocking crime surprised Hollywood and the public because the actor, known for bringing happiness, was not expected to commit such a violent act. An examination of their troubled relationship showed that the couple had consistent conflicts related to money problems and personal arguments. People who knew them shared that Salmi, who usually kept to himself, had been feeling more pressure and stress recently, possibly due to unresolved issues in his life. Number 8. Tom Neal. Tom Neal, a famous actor in Hollywood admired for his charisma and outstanding acting, had a hidden side that not many people were aware of. He became well known for his role in the classic film noir De Tour. In addition to his acting job, he also pursued a career as a boxer. Despite his successful public image, Neil battled with strong feelings of rage and aggression. His celebrity status could not conceal the turmoil he was experiencing, and in 1965, his inner struggles came to a shocking outcome. On October 2, 1965, Tom Neil and his wife, Gail Bennett, got into a big fight at home. What began as a typical disagreement escalated into a tragic event. In a moment of anger, Neil took a gun and fatally fired his wife. The noise of the gunfire broke the silence in their house, bringing an end to the argument and her life. When law enforcement showed up, they discovered a gruesome scene. Neil, who was once a popular actor, now stands as a dangerous criminal. Neil confessed to committing the crime, however, he insisted that it was unintentional. He claimed that he had lost control and had no intention of hurting his wife. Despite this, the investigation uncovered a troubling history. Neil had a prior record of violent behavior and numerous conflicts in his past relationships. His marriage with Gail was rocky, with friends revealing that he struggled to control his temper. The trial became a widely publicized event, shedding light on all the negative aspects of his life. Once a beloved star and successful boxer, Neil now had the label of a convicted criminal. His once promising career was ruined, and his tragic actions tainted his reputation forever. Number 7. Bertrand Cantat. Bertrand Cantat was a well-known French rock musician, famous for being the frontman of the band Noir Désir. He had a devoted fan base and was a prominent figure in the French music industry. Apart from his music, Cantat also tried his hand at acting, which added to his popularity. Unfortunately, his life took a tragic turn in 2003. Cantat and actress Marie Trintignant were in a troubled relationship that ended in tragedy. Cantat physically hurt Trintignant during an argument in 2003, resulting in her death, which was a shock to the public. Trintignant, a well-loved actress in French cinema, was mourned by many following her untimely passing. Cantat was arrested and found guilty of causing Trintignant's death, resulting in a manslaughter conviction. The high-profile case shed light on the problem of domestic violence. He was given an 8-year prison sentence, but was released after serving 4 years. The reason for his violent behavior is still a topic of discussion, with many suggesting it was due to jealousy and emotional distress. This tragedy had a lasting impact on Cantat's life and career, altering how he was viewed. He was once praised for his talent, but the events of 2003 overshadowed his reputation, sparking strong reactions to his behavior. But what was the true story behind Riva Steenkamp's death? Did Oscar Pistorius truly mistake her for someone else? Keep watching to find out more. Number 6. Riva Steenkamp and Oscar Pistorius. Riva Steenkamp was a bright and smart young woman with a hopeful future. By 2013, she was a beautiful model and a law school graduate who was beginning to establish herself on South African TV. She was famous for her roles on programs such as Tropica Island of Treasure and Baking Made Easy, capturing viewers with her charm and vibrant personality. Her mix of grace and brainpower made her sudden death even more surprising. Riva started seeing Oscar Pistorius in November 2012. At that time, Pistorius was a famous athlete known as the Blade Runner for competing in the Olympics despite being a double amputee. The couple's outings together, including their first appearance at a sports awards event, showed their love story like a fairy tale. But on Valentine's Day in 2013, everything changed tragically. That evening at Pistorius's house in Pretoria, South Africa, Riva was fired and passed away. She had locked herself in a bathroom when Pistorius fired multiple times through the door, hitting her 3 times. Pistorius said he thought she was an intruder and acted in fear, but many doubted his story because of the amount of bullets fired and no warning being fired. The case became very famous in South African history, gaining worldwide attention. Many people viewed it as part of a larger problem of violence against women. In 2014, Pistorius was found guilty of manslaughter and given a 5-year prison sentence. This decision caused outrage, leading to an appeals court declaring him guilty of ending someone's life in 2015. His punishment was then raised to 6 years and eventually to 13 years. Reva's death sparked discussions about domestic harm and the legal system, and her family still works to remember her and push for reforms. Number 5. Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman was an incredibly talented actor whose life was overshadowed by a tragic event that shocked the world. He was famous for his comedy skills on shows like Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, and News Radio. His clever humor and charming personality made him popular with audiences. However, his personal life ended in sadness, despite his achievements. Phil and his wife, Bryn Hartman, were married for more than 10 years and appeared to have a perfect life. They had a nice house, successful jobs, and 2 young kids. However, things are not always what they seem. On May 28, 1998, a tragedy occurred in their Los Angeles home. Bryn shocked everyone by firing Phil while he was sleeping, then took her life. The couple's 2 children were also there, suddenly left without parents. The causes of this terrible event were hard to grasp. It was later found that Bryn had alcohol, illegal substances, and depression medication in her system. The mix of substances, combined with ongoing issues in their marriage, probably contributed to the events of that night. Friends and co-workers were shocked. Rita Wilson, a family friend, said nobody could understand why this happened. She mentioned Phil as a dedicated dad and Bryn as a caring mom, making the situation even more perplexing. The world of comedy and entertainment felt a great loss when Phil Hartman passed away. Fans still love his iconic characters and memorable sketches, but his death also shows how someone's hidden struggles can have a heartbreaking impact on those around them. The story of Phil and Bryn Hartman is still remembered as a tragic moment in Hollywood. Number 4. Russell Neal. Russell Neal used to be in a well-known music group that had popular songs like I Like the Way and The Kissing Game. These songs brought happiness to a lot of fans and made the group a beloved part of the music world. But in 2014, Russell Neal's name was linked to a terrible crime that shocked not just his family, but also his neighbors and the music community as a whole. On July 2, 2014, Russell went to a sheriff's office in Houston, Texas, and calmly told the authorities that his wife had passed away. He did not give much information and cooperated with the arrest. He just told them what happened to his wife. Later, the police found the body of his 24-year-old wife, Catherine Martinez, at their house. Catherine had serious injuries and was sadly declared dead at the scene. Catherine was a young mom with 2 young boys, aged 3 and 4. Thankfully, the boys were not hurt during the incident and were sent to stay with Russell's mother. However, the emotional pain of losing their mother in such a violent manner would surely affect them for life. Neighbors and loved ones of Catherine and her partner were shocked and couldn't believe the news of her death. A neighbor named Raymond Batista told CBS affiliate KHIU that Catherine and her partner appeared to be happy together. Everyone was surprised by the sudden tragedy because there were no apparent issues in their relationship. But as more information about the case came out, a troubling side of their relationship started to become clear. Russell's talent agency, Braun's Most Wanted Entertainment, promptly issued a statement cutting ties with him. They emphasized that Russell was no longer affiliated with the group and would not be taking part in any upcoming projects. The music industry, which had previously celebrated Russell as a member of a successful act, now had to come to terms with the fact that fame can sometimes conceal troubling truths. Guess who was sentenced to 40 years for taking his wife's life? The answer might shock you. Number 3. Michael Jace and April Jace. April Jace was a well-known and remarkable woman who had a lively personality and loved life. She was praised for her success as a top track and field athlete, being one of the 5 fastest female sprinters in the U.S. in 2011. Her commitment to her sport led her to win a gold medal at the World Championship Finals. Apart from her accomplishments in sports, April was also a loving mother and valued member of her community, loved for her friendly and kind nature. During the trial, witnesses said Michael Jace had teased April and fired her in the legs on purpose before taking her life. The planned way in which the crime was carried out shocked both investigators and the public. Following the firing, Michael Jace allegedly sent a text to April's mother admitting to what he had done and requesting she come to the house. This message was extremely disturbing and heartbreaking for any parent to receive. Michael Jace quickly confessed to the crime he committed. During his trial, it became clear how much harm he caused, especially to his children, who lost their mother and had their family torn apart suddenly. The court learned that the actor's actions were not accidental, but were calculated and unkind. Ultimately, in 2016, Michael Jace received a 40-year prison sentence for ending his wife's life. This situation had a big effect on the community, bringing attention to the hidden dangers of domestic violence. Number 2. J.J. Paulson. J.J. Paulson, a skilled television writer and producer, became famous in the 1990s for his innovative work on popular shows like Cosby and In Living Color. His achievements in the entertainment industry established him as a clever and creative writer. Hollywood acknowledged Paulson for his talent in creating memorable comedy, leading many to believe he had a bright future in television. His fresh ideas and witty humor made him a highly desired figure in TV production, known for being a pioneer in the comedy genre. In 2007, there was a surprising development in Paulson's life when he was arrested for the death of his wife, Leanne Serrano Paulson, whose body was found in their Indiana home. This news shocked both the entertainment world and the general public, as it was hard to believe that someone with a successful career could commit such a terrible crime. The circumstances of Leanne's death were disturbing and suggested serious problems in their marriage that had been kept secret from the public. Paulson at first claimed he hadn't planned it, but later confessed to voluntary manslaughter, saying he did not intend to commit the crime. The reasons for the tragic event are still unknown, and there is speculation about personal problems or issues in his marriage, even though he had success on TV. This terrible incident became the main focus and changed his life significantly. After the crime, Paulson was given a 26-year prison sentence. This did not just ruin his life, but also affected his loved ones, friends, and the entertainment industry that once admired his talent. Going from fame to prison was a harsh reminder of how fast things can turn, even for successful people. But who made it to the top of the list? Was it just a case of his acting role becoming reality? Number 1. Robert Blake. Robert Blake's life is a Hollywood story that makes you think about how much an actor's on-screen personality reflects their real life. He was a famous actor known for his roles in movies and TV shows. One of his most memorable performances was playing a criminal in the film In Cold Blood in 1967. Looking back, it's creepy how similar his role was to his dark and unexpected life events. Blake married Bonnie Lee Bakley in 1999. Bonnie was known for conning older men and using them for their money. Their relationship was not typical and had many issues, leading to a tumultuous life together. It seemed like their marriage was doomed to fail in many ways. In 2001, a tragic event occurred when Bonnie was discovered dead in a car with a gunfire wound to her head. Many people were stunned by the unexpected and shocking nature of her death, leading to suspicions falling on Robert Blake. The actor, who was previously well-liked, was taken into custody and accused of ending Bonnie's life. This led to a high-profile legal battle that grabbed the attention of the public. Witnesses emerged, alleging that Blake had attempted to hire them to carry out the death of Bonnie. The specifics of the case painted a dark and disturbing picture, causing the once-beloved performer to become the main suspect in a criminal case. When Blake's criminal case went to trial, the jury found him not guilty of Bonnie's death. This decision surprised and divided the public. Some thought he was innocent, while others believed he had avoided punishment. But that wasn't the end of the story. Bonnie's family sued Blake for wrongful death, wanting to hold him accountable. This time, the court sided with the family and held Blake responsible for Bonnie's death. As a result, he was ordered to pay a $30 million penalty, which left him financially ruined. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.